Hello everybody and welcome back. It's Eon here. Apologies for the delay in getting this out. It's been a crazy month of December. I hope everybody's having a Merry Christmas. It's December 2024. Let's look at what's been released for Sci-Fi. First up, we have 3D Art Guy here. 3D Art Guy releases quite a few things. Notice that these are the main sculpts that we're going to be seeing for this month. We have the Apex Hunter, an old man, Mecha Pilot in general, as well as the Storms. Notice that most of these have slightly different sculpts. So the Mecha Pilot may have the gun down, may have the gun up. Here we see our General. Seems like I may have known him from another situation. Has several different sculpts. We have the Storms, which we see there, as well as the Apex Predator or Hunter, if you would. Notice the General does have a slightly different viewpoint. And again, if you want to see a few more sculpts, go check out 3D Art Guy's release, always. Anvil Digital Forge we've already looked at in the preview, but we're going to look at a few more things here. So we have the Pan-Continental Republic Pulse Mechs, and these come in very modular form. These have lots of different ways to put them together, along with some scatter and so forth. And here's a few of the results of how to put them exactly together. So you can get a lot of variance depending on how you want them to look. I really like the armor here. Also, they Anvil Digital Forge put out a loyalty reward as well. And so you can see here what that looks like too. Arcane Whiskers has a few releases as well. We have a digital tree here with Simulation Pack. We have Inari, a symbol of resistance, and Nevermore, the digital raven. We have some training dummies, and the glitched watchtower. I'll say I really like the look of that. It kind of reminds me of Minecraft in a way. Maybe it's just the blocks. We have a file error and a 2x2 cube, and a 1x1 cube. And these are modular, can be put together in many ways. Here we have Inari again. Just wanted to look at him from the back. You see it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 7, if maybe not 9 tails. Archvillain Games is doing a science fiction release this month of Scale-Clad, the Hunt Pack. So if you're looking for some lizard-like science fiction guys, these guys are pretty cool reptilians. So here we see the Scale-Clad Huntmaster, with mount, of course. Here we have a Scale Tailor, and then a Palanquin to hold the Scale Teller. Here we see some Scale-Clad Raptors, come in about 3 different sculpts. And then we have the Scale-Clad Trackers. They come in about 3 different sculpts as well. Then we have the Scale-Clad Pillagers. Notice they can come without a helmet or with a helmet. They can come with a melee weapon or a rifle. And there's a few of these. Some have goggles, some have helmets, some have none. They remind me of the Jem'Hadar a little bit, but there are 11 sculpts of those. Next up, we have Atlan Forge. They released throughout the month, so we'll see some more from them later. But right now, we see the Egyptian Battle Sphinx. It comes with a couple of different head choices and some weapon loadouts as well. So here it is with the more skull-looking face, with the more classic mask look, if you would. So again, just to kind of zoom in on what those look like. Battlecat Miniatures has released a few bit of previews. So they have a Horse and Musket. This is the December 2024 release. It will contain Vistula Legion Infantry, Artillery, Voltgears, and Uhlans. I'm probably mispronouncing some of that. And for World War II, we have Australian Engineers, Sniper Teams, a 6 PDR AT gun, and M3 Stuart tank. We'll look at a picture of that in just a second. So this is from some of their Horse and Musket releases, just kind of showing you a little bit better renders of some of the cavalry there. here's the World War II Australian groups. That poor tank has seen better days. Beyond Space likes to release throughout the month as well, so we'll probably be looking at them again, but we've got at least 3 releases from them already. Release number 1 is the Arashi Guardsman Loadout 1, the Arashi Cavalier, and the Armory V1, or Volume 1, Version 1, Volume 1, I believe. Bite the Bullet Studios is usually in my fantasy videos, not my science fiction videos, but this month's release is science fiction. It's the Bullet Galaxy. So there's everyone, and we'll look at them in more detail in just a second here. And you do get a welcome pack throwback. Now notice that the welcome pack does involve some Christmas-themed miniatures from December 2021, as well as some other very similar models, a little bit different, as well as some terrain and decoration decor. So we have a Furblin Biohacker and a Furblin Mechanic, and a Furblin Soldier as well. We have a Space Goblin Soldier, a Space Goblin Vanguard, and a Space Goblin Witch Warper. We have a Space Ratfolk Soldier and a Space Locust Technomancer. We have a Space Slug Mystic and a Space Dwarf Soldier. We have a Space Monster and a Space Lizard Mechanic. He looks like a happy fella. We have an Adarian Operative and an Antlian Solarian. Space Catfolk Vanguard and an Android Envoy. We also have Talia the Quarian Pilgrim. She comes with either a face or a mask option, and she is exotic, so there may be another sculpt here that we just don't have the luxury of seeing. Next up, we have Crippled God Foundry. Now, I think this is new to there. I may be wrong, but they have basically a free monthly miniature bundle that's available now. And so this month is spiders. I have a student that would love this bundle. Pun intended, joking, of course. But we have a Goblin Spider, a Giant Spider, and a Spider Swarm. And it's considered a low-level encounter, apparently. So good for if you need some free miniatures to pick up, check out Crippled God's Foundry's tier here. Now, I'll be honest, Crippled God, you finally won me over. I've been fighting the urge, and I'm now a patron of Crippled God. Look at this December science fiction release. Let's look at it in more detail. So we have here some Cyber Bears, but the Feely and Keely the Dwarf Scouts is part of what won me over. We also have some Ogrins, as well as a Frost Giant Overlord. I think he means business, folks. But then we have the Abandoned Train Station. Trains seem to be a common theme this month. You'll see what I mean if you look through the fantasy videos too. So we have the Abandoned Train Station, and notice it comes with some track. Unfortunately, this won't run, but you could still use it for the purposes there. Cyberforge has released their month's release. We have Outlands for their Skirmish RPG tier. We have Officer Sean and Officer Connolly. And we also have Vortex Valen and Valen's Ghosts. Lots of good faceless minions for whatever your purposes are. For their Wargaming tier, we see the Shadow Knights this month. We have Warden Crove and some Bane Dreadnoughts. Melee in one hand, a ranged weapon on the other, and a ranged weapon on their back. We have a Force Squad. These come in several different sculpts. They come with melee weapons. They come with a 3-barrel gun. They come with what I would assume is a flamethrower, since it's got those little air vent holes on the sides, and what looks like a mining laser, probably some sort of laser, I would think. We also have some Shadow Civilians and some Grid Runner terrain. And we have some other terrain as well in the form of like a Grimdark library, along with a librarian to help tend the books. That says Remembrance. Cyberstash we've already looked at this month, but we'll look at it again. We have Kiko Pom Pom Pomeroy, or Kiko, excuse me, and a couple of different poses, as Cyberstash usually does. One of just the figure and one with a diorama of sorts, if you would. They said this is they also have 3 LED heads, or LED heads. I'm not sure which way you're supposed to say that. Usually it's the acronym LED, light emitting diode, but it's a gang of techno-ravers and ravers and drug dealers. They're versed in combat through skill chips and neurodive combat training. And you also get a pom-pom keychain as well. Dakka Dakka has December release, again, $10 for the month. You have here the Warmaster Keen Stargaze. I love that paint job we just saw. The Orc Slayers Tactical Squad. I guess in this case it means they're killing orcs, not that they are orcs. And the Orc Slayers Heavy Artillery Team. The Orc Slayers Lead Squad. Yeah, he's got his foot on an orc's head. I'm thinking they're killing. And the Orc Slayers Stomper Mech. We have the Holy Department of Heretical Investigations. I'm sure they stay busy. And the Blight Shield Witches Squad build, which is a build kit. So this is very modular, meaning you're going to have to put it together yourself. We have Furio the Ash Blood, which was previewed as well. Edge Miniatures has done a release for this month. We have some Cursed Elves and some Bear Marines and some as well. So let's look at what we've got. So Tech Pirates, these are a 28mm or standard release. These are pirate mercs. We also have some Bear Marines, and these seem to be pretty much exactly that. They're Earth Sign style humanoids, bears, with marine armor. They come with several different weapon choices. Heavy weapons, or just regular weapons, I suppose. And other weapons and heads that you can pick and choose. Now, if you didn't know, Edge Miniatures also does epic scale stuff, so they have some 8mm Cursed Elves. These come in squads of 5. And we also have these pirate ships, which are really cool. I like the modularity of these. So you can pick out different weapons, you can pick out when you want a person behind the wheel or not, and put them together with a sail, without a sail, however you want. Ghamak likes to release throughout the month, so we'll probably look at them again, but we have here the demonic possessed warlock. Demonic possessed warlock is what we have here. He has a couple of head choices, if you notice over there on the left. So here he is with a different head choice. And again, very modular. These are the Freedom Guard assault teams. Again, lots of choices. You can put these guys together with different heads and different weapon poses to some extent. And that's the Freedom Guard assault team. Here we see, I forget his name. I'm not even going to try. And then we have some heavily armored guys as well. Maker's Cult has released some previews of what they're putting out for the month of December. So this is December Part 1. Some impressive I want to say artillery, but that's not really the right term. Some tanks and walkers. So let's just take a look at what we've got here. Notice this tank has treads. It's quite an impressive walker. And this tank does not have treads. Slightly different weapon loadout. Or perhaps just need an armored personnel carrier. I'm assuming that's what those are. We don't have a whole lot of weaponry on them. And then we have these guys. It's hard to tell from the angles here, but they have a brain in their back. Mantic Vault. We get to talk about you again. You've let us down for a month or two, Mantic. You've kind of only focused in one area, but we've got some firefight stuff out this month. Wolverine APC turret upgrade. Here we see Sir Dead Zone. Awesome. Dead Zone's a great game. I've yet to play it, sadly, even though I've bought all 3 editions. Forge Father Repair Crew upgrades. Forge Father Thorgrim upgrades. And a Forge Father Veteran upgrades. And this was listed as Ingolf, Kresterson, and Pad. I'm not sure what the and Pad is. Moid has put out their December release preview, so I think we've looked at some of this kind of already, but there we go. A little bit closer look of these objective NCMs. I think these are 25mm, but I think they've done some others. And I do like their objectives. I think these objectives are clean, easy to see, and they look good. This one says a 6mm Garmer mech, though. Mr. Modulork is another one that likes to do throughout the month, so we'll be coming to look at him some more. He has a free tier here, so you can get you a Gabo if you want to. And this month's theme seems to be cyberpunks, and we've only gotten one release so far, which is these guys here. We'll be coming back to see more of Mr. Modulork. Nerikson we looked at, and this is not exactly sci-fi, but it's more modern. So this is a kind of a Cthulhu-esque look. We have here we have Laura the detective, and as we can see, she's on the case of something, and it looks like she's fixing to find more than she probably thinks. Watch out, Laura. Laura also comes in an alternative pose where it's just her. There's also this that was released, the Four Seasons Winter. And this is, sometimes I really like doing these videos because I know that if I ever printed them, I would never be able to paint them to this level. And just being able to see that is nice. And then we have a bust here as well. One Page Rules has put out a few releases for this month. Here we see, wow, nice. Yeah, Dwarven Mining Rig. I did not write down the name of this. Let's just bask in that glory for a minute. The drill. We have the pilots. For Warfleets, we get 4 ships. We also get some terrain. And for the Human Defense Force, we get some tanks. And of course, typical OPR, you get some objectives, rulers, dice, and bases. Oshouna Minis is releasing this month a few things. We have this. And I always look at this and I'm like, should I put this in fantasy or should I put this in science fiction? But then when I look at this, I'm like, yeah, those are guns. I'm pretty sure they're organic, but they're guns. Papsikels is releasing throughout the month, and I always find them confusing. But here we have Xeno Diablo. Also a Falconeer Hunter Claws Christmas special. For December, they're doing Space Dead, which we've looked at a lot of, so let's look at those again. We have some combat medics and multiple sculpts. We have some Xeno Praetorians. Damaged Android Science Officer. Democracy Troopers, we have Hell Inspectors. Edna Mole would be disappointed in their use of capes, but it really adds to their flair. We also have some Colonial Space Combat Engineers. Quite the complicated helmet, obviously inspired by Dead Space. And we have an odd number, so yeah. They also put out this image of the Cyberpunk release, and while I don't have any good visuals of these together, I did want to put this here. So we get quite a few different themed elements here. Piper Makes has done this preview earlier that we saw, and I was hoping to see a little bit more, but I don't think we don't have any just yet, or either I missed it. But then we saw this, and this is one of the most unique miniatures I have ever seen. It's like a miniature that is digitizing itself away. I'm assuming this is some sort of shadow cloak or something, but I'm really impressed with this. This is a good job Piper Makes. I love your renders. I love the coloring. But these are cool minis. So here we have these guys. Slightly different paint scheme. But here they are, kind of like they're going, like night-night. Like they're going, they're cloaking and preparing for infiltration. I like the fact that he's putting his finger over, like, don't say it, but I'm sorry, I just said it. But I just wanted to point out how cool these were. Like this, if this was printed well and painted well, these would be very impressive on the table. So I'm curious to see what these look like in real life as opposed to just the renders. But yeah, I've never seen anything like this before, personally, and I like to admit, I'd like to point out greatness when I see it. Print Minis has put out a little bit of stuff here. We have Scum Rider Sump Rafts. And then these are, more, maybe not science fiction so much, but those guns look pretty futuristic. And we have some a speedboat as well. These are the Veros Sin Gang. We'll look at them in a little bit more detail. Then we have some Bitter Nightshades. Yeah, 4 arms and 2 legs. Is that 5 arms? I'm losing count. Here we have Christmas Cressida. And some gang barricades. These can be undamaged or damaged. And here we have a Broder Iron Fist, a Bounty Hunter. And we have the Handler, Cade Terran. Printerra Studios is releasing this month we have Burning Bodies, as well as a Dog Rider. That's a big dog, or a big fairy one. We have a Dread Knight and some Feline Riders. We have a Mascot and Base Topper, as well as the Mayatan Berserker Smith. The Mayatan Stone Rider and Mayatan Earth Guard. Project Mobius has put out pictures of the December release, so we have a forward outpost this month. And a landing pad. Satellite uplink. As well as a cargo ship. Project Mobius's releases are usually a little bit smaller compared to some others, but that's because they're a lower tier price and a good deal regardless though. Here we have RedMakers and Adeptus miniatures for release number 1 for the month of December. We have the Dominarch, Renegades and Heretics, Omniforge Tech Guardians, and Shandshroud Battalion. Let's see if I can forget those names. There's the Dominarch. Notice these come in 10 sculpts. And then the Sandshroud, folks. 20 units that come here. And they do have lots of different options that you can put them together however you wish. RNE Studio has put out, and again, some of y'all have helped me understand this, and I appreciate that. So if you back RNE Studio on Patreon, you'll get this, Blizzard Volume 2. Still trying to figure out what that is in the middle. I think that's Jaina Proudmore on the bottom right. It's a fairy dragon up top right. And I don't know the other two. I don't know the stuff on the left. Here we have Cyberpunk Volume 2. I'm not sure which Cyberpunk inspired these. And we have Anime Series Volume 22. And if I can read the placards, I think it's inspired by My Hero Academia. If you back RNE Studio at a collector's tier, then you also get access to these, or the champion tier. Maybe that's the term. Starts with a C. RPG Figures has released some Galactic Wars droids, as well as some Bounty Hunter droids. Sir Nicholas Miniatures, I'm still trying to completely read their Patreon, right? Is released these renders of some kind of militaristic stuff coming up. So I think I had these in the preview video, and I haven't really noticed anything overly new since that moment. Skullforge Studios has just put out some stuff. Maybe that's why I had to be so late in getting this out. The Terran Defense Force. These are drop troopers. Frost Infantry Authority. The Crimson Sun Enforcers Syndicate. As well as some Galactic Pirates. Captain Sliver on the right and Bosun Wolfie. He looks kind of like a... I know bosun is a position on a ship, but he looks kind of like a Bothan from Star Wars. Not quite, but close. And coming soon, some specialists. Stationforge has put out 3 releases so far this month. First off, we have the Orcas Smashers. So these are orcs that smash, not people who smash orcs like the previous Patreon we saw. Not the previous, but a previous. So let's look at some of these guys. Then we have the Socrates Militants. And then we have the Grimdark Paintball Squad. I guess they have to train somehow, right? Or maybe this is how they play. Traders Galaxy has not really released anything new that I can share, so we'll just look at what's already there. Bot War Snake Corps versus Red Star Part 2. Trident Studio has put out their December release. Spider. So we have Captain Britain Betsy, King Groot, Omega Sentinel, Psycho Man, Red Skull Cosmic Cube. I guess that's the Cosmic Cube in his chest. Sasquatch. Maybe that's where that Umbrella Academy guy went. No, it's just a joke. It's a bad joke. It reminds me of the guy from number 1 from that show. Spider-Ham. Looks like he's taking care of business. And a Super Scroll. Let's try it for this month. Here we have Txarli Factory. That's just how I pronounce it today. We've looked at this in the preview video, but let's look again. So for your science fiction, they have some trenches. So lots, very modular. You can have it at 2 different levels. And allow you to probably play some games of Space Hulk yet again. Even though it's not Space Hulk, it's trenches, but you get the idea. Unit 9 has put out some interesting stuff. This month's release is about Channel 77 News. So we have an Echo Van over here on the left, and we have Luna Vega, obviously an on-air personality. And she comes in a couple of different poses. I guess that's so that she can be dressed and ready to go for when Jamie Lynn's Corbin is ready to record her. That is a heck of a rig. Logan Hackshot Hayes has a drone, a camera that he can use as well as reporting. I wonder if he's reporting on anything going on in New Jersey right now. Probably too soon or too old for that. Strike Frame 77 Squad, so we have a few different people here. A few different poses and outfits. And there we have Olivia Bennett. We have a Sky Lens, as well as a comlink to send our signal. And then we had a gaming mat here. I'm assuming this is a 2D printable, just like you print out on a big plotter printer. But I'm not sure. I don't know if you can actually order this or not. Some cool artwork, though. Wargames Atlantic has most of their release for the month of December out, so you could pause and look at this release or go there to their tribe and look at it yourself. But they do several different tiers. Some include extra fantasy, some include extra science fiction, and so forth. So these, I believe, are some bearskin hoods. I'm not entirely sure what these were. Sometimes it's hard to tell what their releases are. I'm fairly sure these are Italian war arquebusiers. The arquebus was a long gun that appeared in Europe during the 15th century, surpassing its predecessor, the hand cannon. I think that's what these are. And I like the fact that this guy here looks like he's just taking a rest from doing that. Here we have I believe, what are the British infantry of the Zulu War, intended for imperial conquest. It says, our take on the classic image of Victorian British military might, the redcoats of the Zulu Wars, with their iconic pith helmets and Martini Henry rifles. These chaps will see off any foe that dare face them. So the pith hats, I'm pretty sure that's right. These guys are still a work in progress, but these are the Alpini, Italian infantry World War I, elite Alpine troops to fight alongside November's Italian infantry. This, I believe, is the Polish heavy machine gun team from World Ablaze. And this, I believe, is for Deathfield's the Rebel Yell heavy weapons. Maybe some heavy firepower will assist the Rebel Yell in winning a Deathfield's match. Pretty sure this is the Ura bunker. Ura know the value of strategic dominance, setting up armored bunkers and hardpoints to defend crucial areas of any given Deathfield's match space. Well, on that note, that's our Sci-Fi Overview 1. We'll be coming back in about a week to look at some stuff because Loot Studios doesn't do until the 15th. And I apologize for getting this out so late, but we'll be getting this up as I hope to have this up maybe Friday. It'll probably be a day before the fantasy is up. That one is going to be a beast. Have a Merry Christmas if I don't see you before. I hope to do so, and thanks for watching.